new, recruiter for the hippy dippy, that is a professional failure on my end. Okay.
I don't think
As an excuse, hold on.
Yeah.
As an excuse, I am working full time. I have a family.
You have kids.
I have my own hobbies. So my professional L. Okay.
No,
But I want to walk you through. I want to walk you through a logic chain. I think you already answered this question, but I'm going to ask it again.
Yeah.
Do you believe Trump is an existential threat to democracy?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So is democracy on the ballot in 2024?
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Okay. So you are now ready to debate on the hippy dippy as of 8/16/2024.
Isn't it 8/17?
No, I'm saying last night.
Yeah, no. But again, what I just said, is Trump an existential threat to democracy, isn't what you or what AJW thought the prompt was. They didn't represent the prompt.
This is a point of clarification I want.
Yeah.
So let's do it. I kind of want to pull up my exact phrasing. Like, is Trump going to end democracy in 2024?
Yeah. Will he? Will he end democracy?
Will he? Okay.
Yes.
So what was because I caught the second hour for the commentary section. So what was AJW's most egregious argument that you felt like he couldn't move past because he was being semantic?
I actually don't think it's wrong to be clear. I don't think it's wrong to clarify semantics. What I think, and I'll tell you what I think the most egregious of this example was. But I think it's fine to clarify semantics. Be like, this is what I take to be the question, what that is, and just to be like, under your semantics, I don't have a disagreement with you, AJW, because I don't think that standard has been reached. So that's fine. What I took issue with was AJW saying you have to agree with my semantics and concede the entire debate because of my ridiculous interpretation of what this meant. And so that's what I take issue with, number one. And then number two, what is the most ridiculous semantic issue? And I see Destiny has requested, I will grant it to him in a second. What is the most ridiculous of the semantic interpretation of AJW? For him to interpret the prompt of, is democracy on the ballot, as, do I have a practical certainty that Donald Trump will end the democracy? And that is to say, and I think that means small d democracy, not our constitutional republic, but literally stop voting.
Again, I'll take the professional L where I need to on not communicating the actual verbalized prompt, but I do think that and I'm not trying to throw AJW under the bus. It's technically my fault.
Do it.
But I feel like there's an extrapolation there that's already an extrapolation from my extrapolation.
I agree.
Okay, wait.
So.
Is my mic working?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I understand I've been on a more aggressive bend, okay? I'm going to continue this. Can we just not even pretend to have this conversation? I don't understand why this even needs to happen. It is whatever interpretation, Connor, if you think they had an interpretation that was legitimate, you're just not in reality. You're either doing it intentionally or you need to medicate yourself for psychosis. There is no world where you have a conversation about, is democracy on the ballot? And the other side perceives the ending of democracy to maybe not even be encapsulated in the Civil War. There's no sane, valid interpretation that has that. Full stop. If you pretend that it does, you're either crazy or you're just crazy making. You're gaslighting. You're having fun, being insane.
No. So I think that would go to my last sentence, which that feels like an extrapolation to my extrapolation.
What does that mean?
So people are criticizing me because I rephrased, is democracy on the ballot in 2024 to Sean specifically. Okay, Lauren had the full prompt. To Sean specifically, I reinterpreted that to, is Trump going to end democracy in 2024? Okay. So that's the premise that I presented to him. That's what he went with. Apparently,
I understand, but there are two huge things. One is we could have just clarified that immediately, and then we could have been oh, okay, so the claim isn't quite as extreme. Okay, which would be fair. But then two, even if we wanted to meet that insane claim, it wasn't enough to show if democracy was on the ballot. It was, is democracy on the ballot in such a way that Trump will end it and it will never come back?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's
hold on. Can you acknowledge that is never a valid interpretation of that prompt? And can you acknowledge that no one in the history of is X on the ballot has ever meant it to be that way? Ever. Now, not even one person in all of human history, even in fiction, no one has ever meant it to be that. When someone says abortion on the ballot, nobody thinks is like, well, are they going to make it so that abortion in every single circumstance is illegal from now until the end of the universe, until the heat death of the entire universe? Nobody has ever meant anything to ever mean like that ever.
Sure, and the thing that I think backs up my agreement is when you're the Civil War example specifically, right? So just because democracy came back allegedly, although I think there is an interesting historical argument there that I would steelman, and I wouldn't mind steelmanning Pisco because he seemed aghast at the notion.
Wait. It is a gas, real quick, just to be clear. Abraham Lincoln, everyone understood that this experiment that we were going, this America, is a precedent, and that the democracy as they understood it, the constitutional republic, was at stake. That's why he said.
So hold on, before we get into
I just want to get this out. That's why in his Gettysburg Address he says, and that government by the people for the people will not perish from the earth. Because that's what they thought that they were fighting. Because it was a threat to the constitutional order. It was an illegal abolishment, nullification of the Constitution in these states. The states who initiated the aggression, the states who, thousands were dying, and it was not clear that, were we going to have a split, two different sovereigns, and now, they split again and split again. And so it was anarchy versus constitutional republic. Those were the stakes as they saw them, and they were right.
Okay, so before we get into the Steelman historical argument, because this is going to be a diatribe of its own. I feel like the Civil War example. Let's just talk about it logically, because I think this is what Destiny is poking at. What Destiny is poking at is just because something is a temporary threat, but then that threat doesn't come to fruition, does not mean it's not a threat. Right? That's the crux of what
not even that. No, that would be a softer version of my argument. But I was willing to argue an even stronger version. But what they're saying is that if Donald Trump were to come and be a dictator for 1 year, and then he were to be ousted from office, and then people were to repair everything, and then we set ourselves back on the right course, they would say like, oh, then it wasn't a threat, I guess. That's what that's an
that's silly.
But hold on, wait. Do you acknowledge? You just said that's silly. You acknowledge that was their position.
Okay. Yeah.
No. Wait. Why are you saying okay or sure? No. Yes. That was their position. Yes.
I'm about to use the N-word again, Pisco.
That's fine. I don't care. I love the N-word. But that is what that was their position. Not sure. Not okay. Yes, it was their position, right?
Shut up, Destiny. Let me explain the last 16 hours of my life to you real quick. Okay. I got out of my job because I'm not a multi-millionaire jerk off, and then I got home, and then I helped take care of my kids. Then I helped with the commentary section of the shit for Hippy Dippy. Then I helped put my kids to bed. Then I jumped onto the second commentary thing after catching the last 30 to 40 minutes, which I was watching while I was eating dinner. Then I went to bed, and then I woke up, and Pisco and two of his autists are jumping down my throat for improperly communicating the prompt of the debate, resulting in the shit show of the Hippy Dippy, which needs be pointed out. The point of the Hippy Dippy is to be a fiery panel. So, all of you in that regard.
Wait,
okay?
hold on,
So
Connor. Wait. No, wait, Connor. None of this is your fault. I don't know why you're taking this on you.
Because in a professional debate setting, the exact wording of the prompt should be communicated to all debaters so you don't have this confusion.
There is no confusion. Stop, Pisco. This is partly your fault, you don't entertain this argument. Hold on, no. This is not a real debate. We're living in a fantasy land. There is no confusion here. Everybody knows what that means. Why are you pretending like it's confusing? What are we talking about right now? Is democracy on the ballot? It's not a binary into perpetuity. Everybody knows what that means. You don't have to clarify that anymore. You didn't have to clarify that to us. I wasn't messaging Hutch like, oh shit, when they say is democracy on the ballot, do they mean are they going to do a referendum on should we be a democracy? Nobody thought that. Nobody on my side. It didn't even enter my mind for a microsecond, and I guarantee you it didn't for any of the other debaters as well.
I'm not saying, wait. I am not saying that there is a genuine confusion here, which makes any sense at all. I am saying that their interpretation of what this means is completely implausible. That's all I'm saying, and I agree with you. I said Connor does not have full responsibility for any of this. I think he should have set the prompt out.
So this is all your fault. I think I have that in a tweet.
No, but I went under it and said actually it's not all your fault.
Wait, hold on. What did Connor communicate? Where is this? Show me.
Okay.
Uh,
So
John's tweets.
I sent Lauren and Sean, and I could look up